see.
That's good.
What's up? You here to debate?
I am.
All right. What's your name, age, and pronouns?
Jake, I'm 19. I go by he, him.
Okay, Jake, what do you disagree with?
Well, I am here to challenge the claim that Donald Trump is unfit to be president. I think that's a completely false statement.
Okay, why?
I mean, he was fine last time. I would
disagree.
like to hear why you think he's unfit.
Sure. I think that he is a liar, and I think this disqualifies him from being president. I think we should have presidents who are honest people. He is a cheat. I think this disqualifies him. I think we should have presidents that don't cheat, especially cheat the American people and or people that they work with. He's a thief. I don't think we should have thieves in the presidential office. He tried to overthrow the U.S. government. I don't think we should have people that try to overthrow the U.S. government in the biggest seat in power in the U.S. government. He's a adjudicated rapist. Kind of don't think we should have adjudicated rapists in seats of power. He said really weird things about kids. I think we shouldn't have people in power that. He 100% doesn't like women, or at least doesn't respect women. Kind of feel like that should disqualify you when half the country is women. I could keep going if you want me to.
I mean, if you want, you can.
Well, if you want to challenge any of that.
Yeah, sure. So can you tell me, because I understand your point about him being an adjudicated rapist, can you tell me right now what evidence was brought up against him in that case?
Yeah, so the evidence is going to be conversations that E. Jean Carroll had with her therapist at the time after the incident happened, witness statements from her friends who she called after the incident. It's going to be evidence such as Donald Trump's words and how he treats women and how he acts around women. That was presented as evidence and allowed in as evidence. And then Donald Trump's testimony, where it would have been all the evidence, because Donald Trump refused to give his DNA to receive a DNA to match against the DNA sample that was on E. Jean Carroll's dress at the time.
Okay, that's not true. They refused to take it. He offered an alternate DNA sample.
No, they didn't.
Yes, he did. And
No,
then,
they
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
No, they didn't.
They didn't take it. That dress was never admitted into evidence. So how would you know?
Because this was during discovery, not during the trial. He refused to give DNA evidence during discovery when they were compiling evidence. So they couldn't put the dress into evidence because he did not give his DNA. So there was no evidence. There was no way to corroborate do you know how this stuff works?
I have a pretty good understanding.
Okay, well then you should know that he did not give DNA. His legal team refused to give DNA in the time that was allotted for him to give DNA evidence. He refused to do so.
He ended up offering it though, didn't he?
After the time allotted, it was too late. He wasn't allowed to at that point. That's how these things work. They did that for a specific reason, because they didn't want to give the DNA. So obviously they come in after the fact like, oh, but look, guys, we tried to offer it. It was too late.
All the evidence provided was a lot of hearsay, like you just said.
Because he refused to give DNA evidence. So now it becomes a trial about like what was said and what was like via witnesses and stuff like that. That's what happens when you refuse to give DNA. But the trial isn't about, the only reason we went through that is to show if he did it, which he did. That's why he lost. That's why he lost both cases. He lost his first case with E. Jean Carroll. He lost his second case with E. Jean Carroll. He lost them both.
Okay. I mean, do you think that the justice system gets it right every single time?
No, but I think the justice system got it right this time.
Okay, then we'll have to agree to disagree.
Why? Do you have counter evidence?
Well, that's not how that works. You can't just give a bunch of hearsay and then, he's guilty. That's not how that works.
Well, yeah, it actually is in a court of law. You have to provide counter evidence. Yeah. Yeah, that actually is how that works. Especially because he was the one on trial, right? He was the one on trial. So his team also has to show that he did not do it, right? Because this was a specific, do you know what the case was? Like, what was the reason for the case?
Well, the case itself was a defamation case. I know that.
Yes.
And then there was one, and then they got delayed or something. And there was a second one, and then they tried to compile them, but the judge said no, so they did them individually.
Yeah, so it was a defamation case because Donald Trump was using defamatory language against E. Jean Carroll, and she proved this by proving that he sexually assaulted her.
I mean, There's no. Okay, I mean, listen, because this department store, I don't remember the name, but there's nothing that could corroborate that claim. Okay, there was a picture that was taken of them once. There was an unrelated soundbite, and there was just a bunch of testimony from people that we don't know. So
Well,
I mean,
most people
there's
don't
nothing
know. Most people don't know witnesses in a case. That doesn't mean anything.
No, I know that, but the point I'm making is that there's nothing really convincing to me. That's all.
Okay, it didn't need to be convincing to you. It needed to be convincing to the jury that was chosen by both lawyers in the case, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and it was. So he is an adjudicated rapist.
I mean, I guess, but like you just said, we don't get it right every time, so we don't actually know what happened. And I mean, again, there's a bunch of hearsay. There's nothing that could convince me, so I don't have to take that.
What do you think hearsay is?
I don't have like the exact definition, but it's like what you reference something someone says something. The point is, there's nothing to back.
No,
like,
none of the testimony was hearsay, right? It wouldn't be considered hearsay. Hearsay would be if I overheard something and I'm telling you I overheard this. What it was direct witnesses to the to E. Jean Carroll's state after the fact. Her calling people after it happened and said, I did this. So they brought up those people and said, hey, did she call you after? They said, yes. That's not hearsay.
All right, then I use incorrect terminology, but testimony alone shouldn't win you a case. But I guess that's an argument for a different day. Now, we can talk about J6 if you want, because you mentioned that. Do you believe that if you're going to organize a protest, that you should rally, that you should rile people up?
Oh, this is my stance on him trying to overthrow the government has nothing to do with the protest.
Okay.
It has to do with him hatching a plot with a bunch of co-conspirators to send fake electors to Mike Pence to certify, ignoring the state legislature of each state that was sending electors in. That would be how he tried to overthrow government. He tried to cheat people out of an election.
You know that he's not the only one to like challenge election results, correct?
This isn't challenging election results. This is sending a fake slate of electors to Mike Pence to certify. That's not challenging election results. He challenged election results in court and he lost all of it every time he tried to do that.
He lost on standing.
Yes. What does standing mean?
It's the determination that a court would make that would decide if they can even hold the trial.
It means that the party, here, I'll just read it so that we have it. Lost on standing means that in a legal context, a party to a lawsuit has been deemed to not have the legal right to bring the case forward because they cannot demonstrate a sufficient personal stake or injury in fact related to the issue at hand. So his team couldn't prove this. In fact, they couldn't prove it so much that Rudy Giuliani admitted in a court of law that they were lying about election stuff so that he wouldn't get sued. He still got sued and he lost. And he has like no money now. He's broke now. It's great. So like, all of his people said that it was a fair election. All of his own Department of Justice said it was a fair election. Yet he still, with co-conspirators, wrote up fake electors and sent those slates of electors to Mike Pence to certify. And Mike Pence said, "I'm not going to do this." And then he sent a mob to Mike Pence chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," and sat on his thumbs for 3 hours while they were breaking into the Capitol before he finally tweeted, "Oh, guys, go home. Stop that." Yeah, no, I hope no.
Immediately got taken down, right? So, I mean.
What?
It's in a video that immediately got taken down.
What video? What are you talking about?
That was that you just referenced the video. He said, "Go home. Stop doing this." That was
He
in a
said,
video. That
no.
Yes.
His
He
tweet.
made a video.
No, his tweet, right? His tweet for people to leave came 3 hours after he was told that people were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." He found that out and then waited 3 hours before telling people to go home.
Okay, so what time did people break into the building itself?
Wait, I can give you the exact time frame if you want.
It was around 3 p.m. I think.
Wait, I can give you the exact timeline of events. We have it. We have quite literally the exact timeline. Give me a second to pull it up. Around 1 p.m., when they first overran the barriers outside the Capitol, and they started rushing towards the building. Was around 1 p.m. His speech ended at 1:10 p.m. He calls for supporters at the end of his speech to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue and march to the Capitol, not telling them to go home. At the end of his speech, after they had already gotten to the Capitol and burst through the barriers outside, he told them to continue marching. Okay. He went back to the White House got back to the White House around 1:19. 1:25, he went to dinner. He stayed at dinner until 4 p.m. He was in a private dining room near the Oval Office until 4 p.m. He called Giuliani at 1:39 p.m. What else did he do? The Capitol went on lockdown at 2 p.m. He called Giuliani again at 2:03 p.m. 2:13 p.m. is when the senators adjourned their meeting because they were breaking into the Capitol. Doug Jensen was menacing the Capitol Police at 2:14 p.m. Let's keep going. Trump criticized Pence in a tweet at 2:24 p.m. So he had already been briefed that they were pushing through the Capitol. At this point, 2:24 p.m., he then tweets out a tweet about Mike Pence, which is crazy to tweet about Mike Pence failing everybody after you know people are trying to break into the Capitol where Mike Pence is. He did this at 2:24 p.m. Do we need we keep going?
So what time did he tweet to go home?
He didn't tweet for people to go home until 4:17.
What time did they enter the building?
They began breaking down the barriers and getting into the building at around 1 p.m.
They broke down the barriers at 1 p.m. or they entered the building
Around 1 p.m., pro-Trump rioters, including members of the Proud Boys, a far-right extremist group, overran the first set of barriers outside the Capitol and start rushing toward the building. Top White House staffers, including Meadows, are quickly alerted by the U.S. Secret Service that the police lines are collapsing at the Capitol, according to Hutchins' testimony.
Okay.
So he waited till 4 p.m. to tell them to go home. Crazy.
But you are also aware that he tried to get National Guard there beforehand, right?
Is that your way of pivoting away from the fact that he waited 3 hours to tell them to go home? He knew they were there. Hold on. Let's look at the timeline again. He knew they were there. And instead of tweeting them to go home, he tweeted that Mike Pence has failed you. He basically said your last chance has failed. The failing, by the way, was Mike Pence not certifying the fake electors that Donald Trump sent to him. That was where Mike Pence failed people, was not committing election fraud.
I mean, we could talk about election fraud, but that's a whole other conversation.
The election fraud you don't have evidence for? The election fraud Rudy Giuliani admitted that him and Trump were lying about?
I think 51 intelligence agents lying about a Biden laptop, which would have swayed one enforcement.
I don't care about the fucking laptop. I don't care about the fucking laptop story. I don't care about the laptop story. I do not care about the laptop story. It is just a pivot. Yeah, I know. It's just you pivoting. It is just you pivoting. It's just you pivoting from what actually happened.
Okay, well, acknowledge that the Media Research Center ran a survey in swing states where
because they were lied to about the laptop. Because they were lied to about the laptop.
Yeah, about it being Russian disinformation that it ended up not being.
About the laptop being the laptop was nothing. In fact, when you look at the Twitter files about the laptop, the only thing that anybody could find that had anything to do with the laptop was fucking naked pictures of Hunter Biden. There was nothing. There was nothing in the laptop. You're just pivoting again because you got nothing here.
The point is
you're pivoting.
No, I'm not pivoting at all.
Yes, you are. You're absolutely pivoting. Acknowledge Donald Trump. Acknowledge Donald Trump knowing that protesters are trying to break into the Capitol and tweeting about Mike Pence. Acknowledge it. You won't.
What happened in the Capitol?
Where is it? People broke into the Capitol. They broke through windows. What do you mean, and then what? They beat the shit out of Capitol Police. They were trashing. Is this what we're gonna do?
What percentage?
Is this what we're gonna do?
Yeah, a lot of
this is how you're doing. This is how you're doing.
A lot of them walked in with flags.
Was it legal? Was it legal for them to walk in?
No, but they're still in
No.
prison.
Was it legal for them to walk in? Yes or no?
No.
No, exactly.
Right.
So
But
I
they're
don't give a
being
fuck if
treated
they
like
walked in. I don't give a
POWs.
fuck if they walked in peacefully. They did something illegal, right?
Yeah, they sure did.
Great. So there's your answer.
Should they still be in
Do
prison?
I need to pull up the fucking do we need to pull up the videos of what happened on January 6th? We have it's one of the most fucking recorded moments in all fucking American history. Do we need to pull up the videos?
Bring up the video of them being waved in. How about that one?
You think one video of them being waved in discounts the hours of footage of them causing mass violence? You think that's
No.
You think your one video?
Okay.
You think your one video
No.
you're just
No,
pivoting
I'm
again. Here we are. We're at another fucking pivot. Address Donald Trump's tweet. Address it. Do it. You can't and you won't. You know why? Because you're in a fucking cult.
No, I'll address
So address
Donald
it.
Trump's tweet.
So address it.
I'll do it right now. Tell me what to say and I'll say it.
No, address it. Donald Trump tweeted out after he knew people were pushing through and trying to break into the Capitol building. He tweeted that Mike Pence failed them. He knew they were trying to break in. He tweeted this anyway and didn't tweet for them to go home until 3 hours later. Address this.
Yeah, Mike Pence did fail them.
How?
Overturning a fraudulent election?
Prove the fraud. Prove the fraud. Prove the fraud. Prove the fraud.
I will.
Go ahead. Prove the fraud.
126,000 ballots all at once at 3 a.m, all for Joe Biden. That gave him the
they
win
were
in
the
Michigan.
they were the
Yeah,
fucking
okay. You're gonna tell me that's
they were the
legitimate.
they were the fucking you want to know my favorite part about this? You want to know my favorite part? All of his people admitted that this was going to happen days before the election. They literally said, "Hey, what's going to happen is we know that Democrats primarily voted via mail this time. Donald Trump is going to claim before the election night is over that he won, so that when the big spike of Democrat votes come in, he can make it look like it's fraud." His own people admitted that this was the plan, and you fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. You literally fell for
You
it.
think 126,000 votes all at once for one candidate.
Yes.
You understand how fucking crazy that is, right?
It wasn't all at once. Mail-in votes are counted
was
after
absolutely all at
in-person.
once.
No,
It's
it
the
wasn't.
graph that backs that
Mail-in
up.
votes are counted after in-person votes.
I'm aware.
So then it wasn't all at once.
Yes, it was. The batch
No, it
came
wasn't.
in all at once. The votes were counted. There's a graph
it
that backs
wasn't.
his claim up. Yes, it was.
wasn't.
There's a graph of it. There was
No,
a
it
graph
wasn't.
of it.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, if you're just going to deny the graph, then go ahead. But I mean, the graph is there. See, this is why you.
Because
this
it
is why
wasn't
you
fraud.
don't
It
ever-
was the mail-in votes that were counted when it was time to count the mail-in votes.
126,000 all for
Yes.
one for one candidate. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure.
How many people in Michigan vote, my guy?
I don't fucking know how many people.
How many people in
vote.
Michigan vote? How many people in Michigan vote? How many people? Exactly. You don't know. Exactly. It's
So what
interesting.
The fuck does that mean?
It's interesting that you don't know how many people in Michigan vote, but you're saying that 140,000 is a large number. What's it the pot of? How many people in Michigan voted that year? You don't know because you hear shit
Are
and
you
instead
aware
of
how
looking
close
it
the
up,
election was
instead
in
of
Michigan?
looking it up, right? And looking that none of these lawsuits went anywhere. Rudy Giuliani admitted he was lying. Bannon said that it didn't happen. All of these people admit that it did not happen, but you're still riding the Trump wave. He must be the only person telling the truth when everybody else admits that it didn't happen. You know why? Because you're in a cult.
Thank
It's
you.
real simple.
Are you aware of how close that race was?
How many people in Michigan? How many
Michigan?
people in Michigan voted?
Doesn't matter how many people. The race was tight.
Doesn't
It
matter
was
if the race
a
was
lot
tight.
less
It
than
means
100
nothing.
The margin was a lot less than
I'm not
126,000.
asking about the fucking margin, my guy.
Well, of course you're not, because you're not asking the right questions.
No, because you're saying incorrect shit.
Well, I just got flagged for election integrity, so if I keep talking about this, I'm gonna get banned.
Damn, I wonder why.
Okay. So can I explain why I think Trump is fit to be president?
Sure, go ahead.
I think he was a strong. I think it was a very strong. I think it was a very strong diplomatic leader with foreign nations. I think he was outstanding for the southern border, and I think that if we were to have voted the other way, you would have a weak moron running foreign relations, trying to stop wars that she started, and a border trying to secure a border that she left wide open.
What?
For 3.5
Go ahead
years.
and tell me what. Go ahead and tell me what war Kamala Harris started. Go ahead.
The Russia-Ukraine war.
Started in 2014.
this current invasion?
Started in
Where they
2014.
okay, so they invaded Russia, Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014?
2014 is when they invaded Ukraine and they annexed Crimea. Next.
I mean, are we ignoring that this conflict reignited?
Didn't reignite. It's been consistent. It didn't reignite. It's been consistently happening. In fact, there was on the ground fighting while Donald Trump was in office. There was fighting in the Donbass region, the entire time Trump was in office. So try again.
If you can't see, right, that hurt. Going to the Munich Securities Conference and antagonizing this war is what led to this.
How did she antagonize the war? How did she do it?
Begged that Ukraine would join NATO when they shouldn't be in NATO.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't.
Okay. She did, but okay.
She did not.
So, okay, answer this. If under Obama and under Biden, Russia expanded territory, why didn't he under Trump?
They did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. They were pushing into the Donbass region while Trump was in office. They got the Donbass region while Trump was in office. Yes, they did. You just don't know anything about the Russia-Ukraine war. You know literally nothing about it. Yeah, they did.
They did not expand any territory.
Yes, they did. Into the Donbass.
Pull it up right now.
Sure, let's pull up the Russo-Ukraine war because Jake doesn't know what he's talking about.
If I'm wrong, I'll concede the point.
You are wrong.
If you can prove it to me, then I'll concede the point.
Yeah, sure. Give me a second to pull it up. God, this shit is embarrassing, bro. So let's look at what happened specifically in 2017. Hold on. To me, I got you. 1 second. Let's look at what happened specifically in 2017, which is when Trump took office, and how the war progressed after this point in 2017. Where is it? So, so Russia had control of the Kerch Strait, and in 2018 they built a bridge over the strait. This was in 2018. In 2019, what happened? Where is it? Donbass was in 2017. I'm sorry, 2018 was the war in Donbass. So 2018, Russia pushed into the Donbass region, and they held control of the Donbass region. So there we go. 2018 was when Russia pushed into the Donbass, and they took control of the Donbass, and they held the Donbass region. So that would be...
So I can learn myself a thing or two.
Just look up the war in Donbass. So simple. 2018, they went into the Donbass region. Like, this shit just embarrassing. But yeah, primarily Russia didn't take much new land because Ukraine's been holding them back since 2014. But I didn't see Donald Trump stopping the war while he was in office. Why didn't he? If he has such great relations with Russia.
I'm still not finding where you're seeing 2018. So if you can refer to me to a link or a specific website, just so I can see.
Bro, literally, the war in Donbass was in the whole timeline of the war in Donbass was 2018. Just look up the timeline of the war in Donbass. That entire war took place from January through December.
Okay.
Do we notice that we're still in the point where he's like, there were no wars started under Trump. There were, by the way.
I'm not seeing that the war started in 2018.
No, they pushed in. It started in 2014, and they pushed into the Donbass region in 2018.
Can you just like stop beating around the bush and tell me exactly where you're seeing that?
There's no beat around the bush, homie. Just look up the timeline of the war in Donbass. 10 January, according to information provided by the spokesperson of the Ukrainian operational headquarters, the morning pro-Russian troops had opened fire on 7 occasions on Ukrainian positions, including twice in Donetsk region and 5 occasions in Luhansk region. Fire was returned once in Luhansk region. The spokesman of the Ministry of Defense on issues related to ATO confirmed at noon that 3 Ukrainian servicemen were killed, another 3 were wounded, and 1 were injured in the Donbass region on 10 January, which would be the start of them fighting in the Donbass region.
Okay, I will ask you a 4th time where you're reading this, so I can find it, because I can't find that.
Sure, this would be directly from fucking Ukraine Crisis Media Center. It's like direct report from the Ukrainian military.
That's the website?
I can't fucking uacrisis.org/ru. You have to translate the whole fucking page into English. It's literally the Ukrainians media center, like Ukrainian news talking about the attack. Bro, you're just pivoting right now because you refuse to concede. It's fucking embarrassing.
I refuse to concede. Is that, like, again, if I can find anything backing up your claim, then I would concede, but I can't because I look up, did Russia
Wow, I typed in timeline of the Donbass War, and the first thing that pops up is a Wikipedia page where you can go to timeline of Donbass War 2018, and you can read all of the shit that I'm reading with all of the sources to all of the shit I'm reading in the references. There's over 100 fucking reference material for you to reference about the issue that happened in the Donbass region. Holy shit, dog. This is not hard.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna go back to that.
No, it's fine. Tamia, everybody say shout out to Tamia. Jesus fuck, that's embarrassing, bro. Like, come on, bro. It's just utterly embarrassing, dude. Like, I'm telling you what to type in. Just type the shit in. You can even look at the, like, again, look at the rest of the shit. Oh my God, embarrassing. Anyway. But this idea that no war started under Trump is also not true. Right? It's also not true. There were multiple wars started while Trump was in office. Multiple. Anyway, do we bring in another person on TikTok?